Story 1. The Lantern in the Field. My name's Aaron. I'm 31 now, but this happened when I was 19. Back then, I was living alone for the first time in a small rental house on the edge of a town you've probably never heard of in rural Iowa. It wasn't much 2 bedrooms. Creaky floors, old plumbing. But rent was cheap, and I liked the quiet. Out my back door was nothing but cornfields. My neighbor, Mr. Havers, owned most of that land, about 300 acres. His property ran right up to my backyard. He was in his late 60s, wiry, with the kind of permanent squint you get from a lifetime in the sun. We weren't close friends, but we'd wave to each other when our paths crossed. It was late August, humid enough that the air felt heavy. I was sitting on my porch just after 11:30 p.m., having a cigarette and watching lightning bugs drift over the yard, when I noticed something odd out in the middle of the corn. A light. At first, I figured it was just one of Havers' tractors, maybe someone doing a late harvest run. But this light didn't look like headlights. It was small, round, and it flickered like a lantern flame. And it was moving slow, weaving a little, almost like whoever was holding it was drunk. For a while, I just sat there, telling myself it was nothing. But after a few minutes, curiosity got the better of me. I grabbed my flashlight, walked down the dirt path behind my house, and stepped into the rows. Once I got closer, I could tell the light wasn't being carried in a normal way. It wasn't swinging with footsteps. It was swaying gently, side to side, like it was hanging from something. The hair on the back of my neck went up. I shined my flashlight, trying to see who it was. That's when I realized there was a figure under it. "Hey," I called out, "you okay out here?" The figure didn't move, didn't respond. I took 2 steps closer. That's when the lantern went out. 1 second it was there, glowing in the dark, and the next nothing. Total black. In that moment, I heard something that made my blood run cold, rustling. Not in front of me, not behind me, around me. The sound of corn stalks shifting in a circle. I didn't wait to see what it was. I ran straight back to the house, slammed the door, and locked it. I stayed up the rest of the night, with every light in the place on. The next morning, I went over to tell Mr. Havers what I'd seen. I didn't even finish before he said, "You saw it, didn't you?" I asked him what he meant. He told me that every summer, for as long as he could remember, someone or something walked the fields at night with an old lantern. Never left footprints, never left a trail. His father used to call it the Lantern Man. Story 2. The Man by the Windmill. This happened to my cousin Lila in 2015. She lives in a remote part of Montana, on a cattle ranch about 20 miles from the nearest neighbor. The kind of place where, once the sun goes down, you can't see your own hand without a flashlight. One afternoon in early November, she was out feeding the horses when she noticed a man standing near the old windmill at the edge of their property. The windmill hadn't worked in years. It just stood there, rusting and creaking in the wind. She figured maybe he was a ranch hand from a neighboring property who'd wandered over, so she waved and shouted, "Hey there!" The man didn't wave back. Instead, he tilted his head to the side slow, deliberate, like he was studying her. She said it made her stomach feel like it dropped out of her body. Still, she walked toward him. She told me she kept thinking, if he's hurt, I need to help. But when she got within 30 feet, she stopped cold. His clothes were wrong. Not dirty like a ranch hand's would be, just old. A heavy wool coat, suspenders, leather boots caked with dried mud. His skin was pale, and his eyes looked dark from where she stood. "Can I help you?" she asked. The man smiled, a wide, unnatural grin that didn't reach his eyes. Then, without a word, he stepped behind the windmill. Here's the thing, there's nothing behind that windmill but open pasture for half a mile. No trees, no buildings, nowhere to hide. Story 3. The knock at the barn door. 2 years ago, I was visiting my aunt and uncle in rural Kentucky. They live on a big property with a red barn about 50 yards from the house. One night, I couldn't sleep, so I sat out on the porch, scrolling through my phone. That's when I heard it 3 slow knocks from the barn. I figured my uncle was putting something away, so I walked over to see if he needed help. The air was cold enough that each breath came out like smoke, and the gravel crunched under my boots. When I got inside the barn, it was empty. I stood there for a second, shining my flashlight around. Then I heard it again, knock, knock, knock side the same door I'd just come through. I opened it fast, expecting to catch someone. No one was there. I started back toward the house, but halfway there, I heard the knocks again, this time from the side of the barn. Then the back. Whatever it was circling the building. I ran inside, told my uncle, and he grabbed his rifle. He walked the perimeter while I watched from the window. He didn't find anyone. No tracks, no sign of anyone having been there. We stayed inside after that, but at around 3 a.m., as we were all lying in bed, it happened again. 3 slow knocks only this time. They came from the front door of the house.